Welcome to Reshaping and Transforming in Photoshop. Let's just get started here in Photoshop. Reshaping and transforming is quite simple in Photoshop. All you have to do is make a selection. So I'm going to make a very simple selection, and I'm just going to go to select and select all. And I'm just going to now go to the edit menu, and then I'm going to go to transform, and you can select any option you want. So I'm just going to select skew. That's what I'm going to select. I'm going to select skew. And now I'm just going to transform the way I want it. So I'm going to take that handle, maybe I want to move it this way a little bit, and I'm going to, there we go. And then when I'm done, all I have to simply do now is select the checkbox, which you can't see in this screen recording, but it's at the top of the menu bar. It's a checkbox, or you can press the Enter key. You'll get a dialog box, and you have successfully made a transformation. Image rotation is very easy to do in Photoshop. To rotate, all you need to do is select everything in your photo, so Command A on Mac or Control A on PC. And now you just go to the Edit File menu at the top, go down to Transform, and then Rotate. Now notice that there are handles and dashing little ants around the whole entire image. Now you can rotate freely. So now if I go to this corner, notice how the cursor changes. This means that's the rotation symbol here. To simply rotate, all you have to do is click and drag. Notice how it tells you how many degrees you are moving. If you hold down the Shift key and move your cursor, it will rotate in increments of 15 degrees. So maybe I want something like that, and then all you have to do is either press Enter, or at the top select the Commit Transform button. A dialog box with the progress appears, and the transformation rotation is complete. Scaling in Photoshop is also an easy task to do. To simply scale an object, you're going to have to go to Image, Image Size. Here comes a dialog box. Now you can adjust the width and height of your image. Resampling. You do not want to resample if you are making the image larger more than once. What I mean by that is if you resample, it's going to be cloning pixels. If you resample again, it's going to be cloning the clone pixels. Does that make sense? So resampling is important, but you do not want to resample more than once. So you can either choose a size. Maybe I want this to be a 4x6 in 300 dpi, and I'm going to select OK. Now the image when printed will be a 4x6. Also, you can change the size of the photo canvas. Let me resize this here real quick. To resize the photo canvas, you just go to Image, Canvas Size. The dialog box appears, and maybe I want this to be doubled in size. So 48 times 2, that's 96. And 72 times 2 is 144. And I'm going to select OK. Now notice that, let me try to get this to fit. There we go. Now notice that there is more canvas area around the photo, and you can add or subtract canvas area according to whatever your needs are. And also, you can scale text. So I'm going to place some text here real quickly. I'm going to make it fairly huge so you can see. Say text. And you can scale text. Notice that there is a bounding box around the word text. So if I were to scale this, I can scale it like this and select the checkbox at the top. Now my text is scaled. Or I can make it smaller. I can just grab the bounding box and make it smaller, press enter, and now the text is smaller. So this works for text or other images on separate layers as well. So that is scaling. The Liquify tool is another fun tool to use in Photoshop. This tool is actually part of the filters menu, and it's under the filter menu, so it's filter Liquify. A dialog box will appear. So let me zoom in here so you can bring in this window so you can see it. There we go. So you can use the brush. So I'm going to use the forward warp. Let's see, let me move over here so you can read what they are. The forward warp tool, the reconstruct tool, the smooth tool. There's all kinds of other warping, liquefying tools. But if there's a face in here that you want to, maybe the client has a chubby face and they don't want a chubby face, Photoshop has a built-in face-aware liquify, which I'm going to use. So first I'll just use this brush here, and see, this is what happens when you use the liquify tool. You can just go wee, and that's what happens. So I'm going to undo that, and I'm going to use the face-aware liquify. So it'll notice that there's a face in the photo here. So I'm going to actually zoom in on the photo so you can see what's happening to the face when, let me fix this zoom. There we go. And bring the face in here. There we go. Now let me zoom back in here. There we go. So I'm going to do something to the eyes. Maybe I want his eyes to be larger. Maybe I want him to be an alien. Maybe I want his eye height to be even bigger, the eye width to be even bigger. Maybe I want to tilt his eyes just a little bit. And the eye distance, maybe I want them a little bit closer. Yeah, I want them a little bit closer. So I'm going to scroll. Whoops. I'm going to scroll. You can go through the nose options. You can go through nose width and height. You can change the smile, their lip, their upper and lower lip. You can change the width of their mouth and the height of their mouth. You can even change their face shape. Maybe they have a weird forehead and then they're like, I don't want people to know I have a weird forehead, and I don't know why. But you can modify it. So notice how it's changing here. Maybe the jawline, maybe the person, they didn't like their jawline. Maybe they want a smaller jawline. Maybe they want a wider face or even a skinnier face. I don't know. It's all up to you on your artsy piece, but that's what Liquify does. So now if I select OK, this is what his face looks like. And if I undo this, this is what it looks like now. If I undo this, that's what it looked like now. Before, after. Before, after. That's kind of fun. But that's what happens. You can also add logos or other objects to images. So I already placed one logo, the lead from the front logo, on the first screen. Maybe you want it as a wallpaper. You're just not quite sure if it looked great as a wallpaper on the computer. I don't know. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to duplicate this layer. And I'm going to select OK. And now I'm going to move it over here. Now, I'm going to go to the Edit menu here, and I'm going to go to Transform, and I'm going to go to Skew. Now notice the bounding box around the leaf from the front now has a bounding box. So now all you have to do now is simply move to the right perspective as the screen and adjust to the way you need it. Now this totally, there we go. There we go. Now we're getting a little bit better results. There we go. So you just have to adjust to what you need. And then you just keep on adjusting until let's see, something like that, and that. I'm trying to make it look like the one in the middle here. So we just kind of have to keep following the perspective here, and eventually you have it. So now I'm going to zoom out and I'm going to select the OK button, and boom. Maybe I need to move it just a little bit. There we go. I've successfully added the logo to the other screen, and I can do it for the same on the other one, but I want to save time, so that's how you add and skew an object onto another object. In Photoshop, you can change the perspective of images. Now, I have an image here of the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Of course, it was built at a tilt on purpose. But maybe you were wondering, maybe if the perspective of it would look better if it was just straight up and down. So we're going to fix the perspective. Now first, we're going to show the rulers because we need some guides. So we're going to go to the View and Rulers. Command R, Control R on Windows. Now we're going to pull out our guides here. We need 3 of them. So we're going to have one maybe right here, one maybe right here, and one in the middle. Okay. Why did that one not go? There we go. And maybe one in the middle. Now we're going to go to Edit, Perspective Warp, and notice that this is going to tell you to step 1, click and drag to define your planes. Snap 2 or more planes together to define corners. So I'm going to do that like this, like so, I think. There we go. Okay, now what? And now you're going to let's see. Now you're going to go to the warp. Now you move the pins to where you want it to go. So we're going to change it like so. Now this takes practice to get it to work right. You might have to pull out, you might have to pull in, and eventually you'll have to crop. But let me pull this out. But eventually, let me try to get the whole image in here. Maybe not. Maybe you want something like that, and then I'm going to select the check mark or press enter, and now you fix the perspective. But now notice that there's some transparent background. You're going to have to crop now, so now you're going to use the crop tool, maybe just crop off that part, and then select the check mark. Boom, you just learned how to fix the perspective. Well, I hope this was informative for you, and I'd like to thank you for viewing. See you next time.